Well, welcome back, y'all. Today's topic is science and things that are probably beyond my capabilities here. But I'm having a problem keeping the car cool at cruise over 60 miles an hour. The main problem, I believe, is all the air is just kind of cutting by the radiator and the fans. Because, I guess there's a lot of turbulence under the rear of the car. My aerodynamics probably aren't the greatest with this, and I don't really have much airflow coming in on the top, and this thing's basically flat. But there's also a few other ideas that I have that might be contributing to the problem. But the main thing I'm going to try here is different fans. What I have here is these Proform brushless fans. I'm going to put them to the test and see if they do what they say they're going to do. On the box, 2100 to 4200 CFM. That's the different fans they have. But these are supposed to be rated at 2900 CFM max, whatever that means. The spout fans that came in my really expensive radiator are rated 1038 CFM each, which is not much. And I mean, I feel like for $900, I should have got some better fans than I got. It is what it is. But the biggest challenge of today is to see how many times I can correctly say anemometer. I think I've got it down at this part. So I'm going to take my anemometer, and so I talked to my good friend Sonny, and he said that there's basically no way I can actually, well, there is a way you can actually get correct CFM, but I don't have all the things that I need to conduct that experiment, and I'm not gonna buy a bunch of random stuff just to make, this one little what am I calling this right now, test I guess, comparison. But what I can do is, this has a minimum and a maximum setting on it, so I can basically, if I wanted to, I could free flow them, which I really don't see much of a point in that. But I can put it up to the radiator itself, and I can do a comparison between these two fans just to, see which one's putting out what based on the number that I get off of either one. So I can put it in front of the fan, or I can put it behind the radiator and see how much air that it's drawing through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this fan back on, because I took it off to see. Oh wait, we'll get to that in a second. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this fan back on, and I'm gonna hook I'm just gonna basically jump the relay and just make it run, and we'll see what it's putting out. But I took this fan off just to double check ahead of time to make sure, because they look the same, and I was right, and this is a direct fit, which I'm pretty stoked about, that I don't have to blow self-tappers in my fancy shroud that I have. And if you look at it, I mean, it fits up perfect. Like, it's the exact same frame. So I don't know if it's a copy. I would imagine that these are probably mass produced, and everybody, or well, at least they are both using the exact same ones, like down to like this little hole right here. It all looks the same. It's a little bit different. The thickness of this one is a little different from that one, but pretty spot on. I would say it's probably a copy, who knows. But I mean, most of the fans you get on eBay or Amazon, they all look like this too. So you never know where things are actually coming from, but, well, we all know it's coming from China. Oh wait, made in Italy. I wonder if that's just the motor. I know this is made in China for sure. I think I saw that on the listing. Regardless, it's gonna fit, and I'm not gonna have to modify it any. Another problem that I've been concerned with, you see that gap in there? Like all the way around. I really don't see the point of a shroud if there's a gap in it. I know I've seen some where they have like relief, like holes cut in. I don't understand why you would want to do that. And then also, I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, you can. You see that gap between the fan and the shroud? So I'm going to take some more of that weather stripping deal, and to take the shroud off, I have to take this all down and all apart, and I might be able to do it without messing with the lines. I'm not doing that, so I'm going to take a flathead and I'm just going to stuff it up in there. And, I mean, that should work fine. but it's like it's got sticky stuff on the back of it. It's gonna be better than what it was. I think I can get it in there enough for it to seal. Let me get the other fan back in there, and we're just gonna flow it and see what it does. Put it on max, just set it up here. $756 is what it's saying it's drawn through. So, do that bad boy. I really don't know what information I can get out of this other than we're just gonna see what those fans pull compared to these. Real quick side note, I found in the box that they came with dyno sheets. I have no idea what this says, so I took a picture and sent it to Sonny, and I'm gonna see if he can translate this for me. But that's kind of cool. I mean, it looks promising. Hopefully those numbers mean something good. We're gonna find out, I guess. All right, they're on and wired in. The motors hang down a little bit, but they're kind of low, but it's really not that bad since it's at an angle. It's about level with, you know, it's a little bit lower than the mount I made, but yeah, I think it'll be okay. I mean, it should be fine. It was almost an exact fit with the bolt holes. They were just slightly tiny bit off, so they're not completely flush. It kind of bent it in just a hair. I could always open them up. It's not that big of a deal. I might try doing that, but I'm gonna put that weather stripping stuff on there. But first, I'm just gonna throw them on the way the other fans are on. And first off, let's see what they sound like. It should be moving a lot more air than it was before. I'm just gonna hook this up to ground, like so. Oh, here they go. That's a lot more air. Wow, that's moving. Look at the tarp. Well, that's promising. That's moving some air right there. Let's see what it does. Put it on max. God almighty, that's moving some air. That's 1404 compared to, what did we get? We got like 7 something before. I'm gonna move it around a little bit. It's still the same. See if we get anything better this way. Probably. I don't know what this means, but that's definitely better than the fans that were on there. Goodness gracious. Cool. All right. Well, that made a big difference. Man, I hope that does something. So, like I said, I really don't know how to use these numbers. I have to go back and look at the video I took a second ago from comparison. You know what it is right now, but I already forgot because I've been doing things. But that's definitely a big upgrade from those, I want to call them cheap spowl fans because they're like $100 each. But we'll call them the non-brushless spowl fans. That's pretty promising. Hopefully that works. I'm gonna go ahead and take them off and put the weather stripping on, and we can take this number that we got, which was what, 1404, that was on the back side of it, and see how much of a difference it makes with just putting that on there. I don't know if it'll be that much, but it's worth a shot, right? I can hear a little bit of a difference, I think. Something's wrong with this. This isn't working right. Why is my number not changing? Huh. Well, it's kind of weird I'm getting different readings. I'm really not sure what to think about that. Man, listen to that thing chop. That sounds good. Well, I really don't know what that means. I'm kind of confused now to why it's giving me different readings, but I really don't know what all I can go off of this. But bottom line is they did a lot better than those. So the real test is to take it for a cruise on the highway and see how it does. I'm going to do that, and I'll check back and let you know what happened. All this money I've spent on this car, and this is how I'm still doing things. I can't even buy some damn ramps. Anyway, I have to look back and see where I left off. I've been so frustrated with trying to figure this out that I haven't recorded anything, and I think I know what I recorded last, but basically, as of right now, the old fans are back on. Those Proform fans work great, and they move a ton of air, but they won't both stay on at the same time. And I'm trying to figure it out. So my alternator that I'm about to put back on now had an underdrive pulley on it because I was killing alternators, spinning them up too high. So at idle, that one was only putting out like 12.5 volts when both the fans would actually come on at the same time. So, which is a short period of time. So they'll both kick on, and then one kicks off, and then when it tries to turn back on, the other one kicks off, and it just alternates back and forth and just sucks air from the other fan to the other, and it overheats worse than the fans that were on there. So I went and got an alternator from the parts store with the smaller pulley, and it sat about 13.6 when they were both on, but they won't stay on. It's doing the same thing. They just keep alternating and cutting off. So as of right now, I'm about to throw my old alternator back on and take this POS $200 alternator back to the parts store, because I'm probably going to have to order a Power Master offline, and I'm hoping it's an amperage issue. The things came with dyno sheets, and they shouldn't be pulling more than 20 amps a piece, but they are, I guess. I don't know. And so it's either between one of two things. Either the relays aren't big enough, which they should be, because it's got two 30 amp relays on them on each fan, and it's tripping the relays, or whatever module is built into it, so where it'll ramp it in slow or whatever and doesn't have to use a PWM, is going into some type of protect mode. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook a voltmeter to, one of the wires on the fans, and see that when it turns off, if it still has power to it. If it doesn't have power to it, that means the relay is tripping. If it does have power to it, then that means it's something going on within the fan itself. So I'm going to start there. I'm going to try and make them work still, but I may send them back and just get some brushed fans that aren't too smart for their own good. I mean, just work. I'll deal with all the rest of my problems. Don't worry about my problems. I just need you to both work at the same time. But that's what I'm running into now. So I'm going to swap that alternator out. And this might be a drawn out video. It's probably going to take some time to get some parts in and actually figure out what's going on with it. But next clip that you see is up in the air, but you're about to find out what it is right now. Oh, yeah, this is the next clip. Trying to helicoil this alternator bolt hole, because I didn't even tighten it hard. Well, it's just these aluminum threads suck. I've already had to helicoil one, but the threads pulled out when I was putting that other alternator in, so I gotta helicoil this with a turbo in the way now. Hopefully I can get it's gonna happen, so it's another thing I have to deal with. Well, this video's gotten out of hand rather quickly. I'm doing my best to keep it under 20 minutes. So I'm gonna try and talk fast and say a bunch of stuff real quick. Right now, I'm putting in a different alternator. I got a Power Master, which looks pretty promising. Just the dyno specs on it. So I shouldn't have a problem charging now. The only thing I'm concerned about is one person said on a review that it doesn't like to charge over 5500. Might have to swap the pulley. I don't know yet. We'll see. So I'm going to throw that in. I got some welding cable coming. I'm going to run an even bigger power wire just to make sure, but that's not necessarily the issue that I'm having. So I talked to Proform yesterday. Long story short, they're about to do a recall on their fans. They've only been out for a month, and what he said is the thermal protector deal inside the motor is shutting off at 185 degrees instead of 250. So the past couple weeks they've been working on a solution for it, and hopefully we'll have one by the end of the month. I was like, hey, I'm making a YouTube video on this. There isn't any information out there. I was hoping to put some out there and have like a positive outcome for the video. He was like, just be patient. We're working on it. You'll probably end up with a set of free fans. So I'm waiting it out, and hopefully that'll work. But what I'm going to do is obviously I'm going to put this alternator in now, but I'm going to put the fans back in for science. I'm going to see if it's a voltage issue or not for sure. I'm going to hook a multimeter up to the plug, and whenever they shut off, I'm just going to make sure it still has power to them. So I'm going to do that, and then hopefully I can get a set of updated fans, I guess you would call it, here soon, because I really need to get this cooling system figured out. All right, alternator's in, works fine. For charges 14.2 basically all the time, so that's cool. Proform fans are back on. Multimeter is hooked up just into one of the plugs. I'll end up trying both of them, but I'm gonna start it, let some heat get through them, and wait for one of them to cut off and see if it's still getting power to it. I just turned it on for a second, so there's something going on in there. Let's see what it does. Down pretty low. It's reading 13.7 there. Reading 12.6 there. That's kind of weird. Interesting. Cut off. Yep. It's in the fan itself. This one is off right now, nothing blowing. And that's the one I got it hooked to. That one over there is running. So let's see. Wait for it to cut back on. Yep, here it comes. I feel like that's enough solid information right there that confirms what Proform was saying, and it's the thermal safety deal, whatever you want to call it. Basically, it's supposed to cut off at 250 degrees, and it's cutting off at like 185. So that's the problem. I don't even see a need to swap it to the other plug because it's still got power when the fan cuts off. So that's confirmation. Now we play the waiting game to see what gets figured out. Hopefully it gets figured out here soon. All right, well, this video here is taking a while to finish. Obviously, you see how dirty these fans are. You can see that they've been on here for a while. Long story short, they fixed the problem and they work great. A lot of things have happened since I started this video. I mean, it's been about a good 4 months at least. I started the video, I think it was in like June or July or something like that. Well, anyways, they got the problems worked out, and I mean, dude, these things are working great. In the middle of August here in South Carolina, and this thing was idling at 195 at cruise on the highway, 70, 80, 90 miles an hour, no problem at all. So it was a flow issue that I had, and these fans just sucked it all out, but which we knew they were working good when they both stayed on. So they both stayed on. I contacted Proform. I talked to Dennis up there. Dennis, if you're watching, shout out. Super cool dude, and he helped me out, and he sent me another set of fans, and they work great. The only thing that, well, I've got a couple issues. They're not horrible issues. For some reason, since I put the new motor in, and it's not a fan issue, but it's not cooling as well as it was at idle. Like I said, I was doing 195 at idle. It's creeping up to like 200, 203 is the highest it'll go if I'm getting on it and then I come to a stop. Before, with the mechanical pump, it just takes so much more RPM to get the coolant moving around. I would have to give it a little bit of RPM to get it to come down. So like, say I'm cruising, then I come to a stop, it would come up to like 200 and then slowly come back down to 195. Now with the new motor, something happened. I don't exactly know what, but it rests around the 200 range, which isn't a big deal. You get on it, and do a pull, it comes right back down. So I'm thinking that might be, I don't know, maybe something I had with the thermostat or something, I don't know, but regardless, it's fine. There's another thing that I can't show you yet. Let's make sure you don't see it, but there's going to be a video coming up soon on that alternator down there. I can't spill the beans on that just yet. I will say that we did a little upgrading on the electrical and whatnot. I've got it run into those buses and whatnot. We got some thick wire on it. So like I said, I'm not going to say too much, but we'll just say that they have sufficient power now. The other problem that I'm dealing with is that these things work so well. You can see all the leaves out right now. So literally every time I drive this thing, I have to do this, which I haven't used this little thing yet. I've been using my air compressor, but let's see if this little fan works and how much we get off the top of the radiator. I don't know if you can see in there that well, but let's see how this works. If I can get it up in there. See all them leaves, dude? It gets nothing but leaves trapped up here, so it sucks them in from the side. That's kind of working. You can see there's a bunch of them there still. Yeah, there's still some in there, but I mean, it doesn't look like much, but that'll clog the radiator up. So that's a problem that I gotta get. I'm thinking I'm gonna get some some chicken wire or something and just like put it up on the sides so the leaves don't actually go up into it. Because I mean, dude, when I pulling up in the dirt, it's like a dust storm. These things are so strong, and it just kind of, the suction, they just blows it up and they suck up into the top. But you know, at least the thing's working. Try to keep this video as short as possible, which it's probably gonna be like 25 minutes long. I'm gonna try to chop it down as much as I can, but trying to think of all the information that I really need to get into it. So I'm gonna put a link for the fans that I got in the description. Mine were 160 each, which, dude, I mean, like, they blow so much air for the price. It's like having derail fans for spow money. Like, it's pretty awesome, and they're back in stock on pretty much all websites I've seen. You can get I got mine on Summit, and dude, it's a great deal and they work. That was basically the issue to my cooling problems that I was having. For the most part, it's solved. I just got to work out those couple little things. I'm gonna try a different thermostat, and then I got to build something around the radiator so it quits sucking all these leaves up, because it's ridiculous. Oh yeah, this is November, so it's been a while since I started making this video. All kinds of things came up to where I had other issues to figure out, like, you know, blowing last motor and building another one and all the other stuff that happened in between. So that's an update on the fans. If you're having airflow problems and you need a fan upgrade, like, this is a great budget solution, and they've worked very well. So obviously they updated the thermal deal and they're all good to go now. So as always, I appreciate you watching. Thanks for subscribing, and we'll see you in the next one. Later, y'all.